Hey guys, it's the History Nerd, and we are back with another exciting episode of Europa Universalis for Great Britain. And I realized I finally checked, well, not just checked, but paid attention, and this series is called England. So for this entire time since forming Great Britain, been calling it wrong. You know what? I forgive myself. That's alright. And I'm glad I forgive myself. So where we last left off, we ended another war with Spain, somewhat expanded our influence in Africa. It was touch and go here for a moment, and indeed, Abomi became Castilian. So we're fixing that. That's not a concern. We'll get that fixed up just fine. But it was definitely something that happened last episode. And we're back on Fish Island, using this as the jumping off point to go after them folks. I just realized something. I've got a fleet coming to drop off more troops, but if I'm going to add them to the Army of Scotland, right, because we're building a mortar here, I believe, then I can't have more than one unit there, as far as I know. So we're going to send you to Golden Mountain. Why not? And another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move the galleys back, because I don't think they'll be useful out here. I think the two places where you actually want galleys are the Mediterranean and the Baltic. I believe the Baltic, you get a bonus as well. Everywhere else, you don't want it. Because they're tiny little ships that are useless. And nobody wants tiny little useless ships. So what have we got going on here? We have some light ships, and I do believe we're getting some heavy ships as well for the Indian fleet, which is good, because we're going to need them. Although I don't really know about the light ships, but we definitely are going to need the heavy ships, just to prevent the Indians from doing anything cray-cray. And yeah, then once we retake India here, we can start, thinking of ourselves as hot potatoes and continue pushing. Perhaps we'll see. I'm not going to promise too much when it comes to conquest and glory, because so far I haven't really provided too much of that. Yes, granted, we've got a lot of North America and we've got a lot of Central America. But, you know what? It's not that crazy. We haven't really been doing that much when it comes to conquering the world or painting it pink. Or red. Pink is the color that they used during the Victorian times to paint the British Empire. But this is definitely a shade of red. There's color analysis by the History Nerd, something that is definitely not an expertise of mine. So actually it looks like we could get away with dropping these guys off on Fish Island. So we'll do that. And that just makes sense. And I think after that, yay, we got some, whoa, that's Burgundy. Here we go. We got some more ivory, which is great news, because ivory's gonna make us lots of money. And who doesn't want lots of money? That's what I thought. Everybody basically wants money. Maybe not lots, but everybody wants some, because money makes the world go round. Let's just go ahead and send the fleet over to Glamorgan to do fleet things, to get set up for the next round going to India. Now, we are going to need a lot more troops. We're going to need 19,000 more troops. So I believe this guy is in infantry. So we're going to want 14,000 more infantry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Perfect. And then once these ships get finished being built, we can build up our infantry. Or not our infantry. Herp-a-derp. Our artillery, which we also need. Go that way, and yeah, you're going that way too. Good, that's what I'd like to see. Let's all go that way. And now we can just combine those guys together, and we can see we've got 10 heavy ships, 8 light ships, and 20 Indiamen. So it's a good thing. And then how many artillery do we need? I think we need 5. I think that's kind of the metric I've been going with. 15 and 5 sounds good to me. That makes math easy. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Look at that. Just like that, we've got an invasion force for India. Kind of. Almost. What have you got here, sir? Yep, you can go this way, because I don't imagine you're going to stick around with the Royal Army. You've got a wealth of adventure coming your way. We're also going to need to consolidate the Irish. And we can send that fleet over. Merge those guys together. Excellent. You guys get on your boats and head on into Glamorgan. Perfect. We can merge you guys together. And we've got the Royal Marines and the Army of Scotland, so it only makes sense that we will have the newly reformed Army of India. Perfect. Oh, you can come down to Glamorgan too. We're going to need you to do your army things. We are now losing a fair amount of money, which is a concern. Where's most of it going? I'm going to imagine army maintenance, which is probably just through the freaking roof right now. Yeah, 126 out of 92. Now, Orko, I realize that you said, you know, this should be the bare minimum, but I don't know if we should really be this far ahead. If so, and it's absolutely plausible that we should be this far ahead, England's economy sucks, like, horribly. So we should possibly look to improving that with, we need money to build a treasury and we don't have it. So that's the thing. We'll just have to cut our military spending all the way down to nothing for the moment. Well, maybe a little bit, because we do have troop losses to replace from the voyage east. It's, and in fact, if I think about it, what is the total supply limit on Fish Island? It is 65, so we are definitely going to be able to get away with this with 5 units to spare, so we could possibly even get, you know, a little cavalry army going, although I don't think that, hello, yeah. I mean, let's think this through here. It's purely militarily. I don't imagine Austria is going to have much of a navy. But looking at it, our old allies, the Muscovites, they were great. They helped us a lot with France, and they, you know, they benefited from going to war with France. Absolutely. They took a huge chunk out of French Lithuania. Only in EU games, or Paradox games in general, would you ever say a phrase like French Lithuania. But now the Austrians are like, hey, look, it just makes sense for us to come together. And you can see, unlike the Muscovites and the French, who have just recently fought wars or are currently fighting wars, their army's pristine. It's perfect. And it's much bigger than ours. So that sounds like a great idea, Austria. In fact, we are going to go, and you're still Habsburgs. Oh, this makes me so happy. What can we do? We're going to improve relations with you, because I think that is going to be a good thing to do. Yeah, that looks great. Awesome, Austria. I'm glad that we... Wow. Yes, look at that. That is pretty. I do appreciate that. Now, they're not the emperor. Bohemia is the emperor, and has been for quite a while. But that doesn't really matter because, hey, Austria is still freaking giant. And a royal marriage? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? I mean, worst case scenario, we wind up getting a Habsburg on the English throne, and I'm surprisingly comfortable with that. It even looks like perhaps our alliance with Austria got us some more money. I don't know if that's a thing. I could be thinking of Civ 5 in that case. And I'm not really sure why, with an alliance with Austria, all of my military preparedness dropped, but whatevs. We're going to roll with it. All right, send you guys that way, and then we're going to keep Actually, we're going to keep the blue squadron here. We should really call this the Med Squadron. We'll just do that. There we go. Now I know that that kind of belongs in the Mediterranean. Just from looking at it. You belong in the Mediterranean. What are you doing here? Oh, right. We're invading India. We're going to need the transport ships. And so, utilizing the 2 fleets, I can drop off 2 stacks. Instead of, with my previous invasion of India, doing 1, going back, doing 1, going back, doing 1. We can go 2, just send 1 back, we'll send the Med fleet back, leave the bigger fleet still doing their thing. And, in fact, one thing I do want to look at. Just a moment. How long is it going to take forever to build ships in Madagascar? So that's not going to happen. I was thinking, hey, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe we can get some more fleets out of that. No, definitely not. And yes, we do have colonists kicking around. We got 2 spots to use them. But before I use them, since I bite down on my tongue as I try and get a sentence out, hey, this time it loses Republican tradition, gains liberty desire, but we don't take a prestige hit. We're gonna leave you, Jonathan Raleigh. You're doing good work. Tax assessors. All right, yearly inflation reduction. I'll take that. Take that to the bank. And so basically, I don't want to, as I learned with Ouagadougou here. Oh, that could be why things are going slowly. It takes a while to get those guys there, especially when you don't send a colonist. Once we get these, we'll get the last two available provinces in Africa, and then possibly look at going to war with Mali to sort of finish things off. Because, I mean, we could curb stomp them, basically, even with just the units that I've got there. And they do have some gold-producing provinces and some ivory. So gold and ivory, that's, that's money in the bank. Twice I've said that this playthrough now. Yeah, twice this episode. Who knows how many times I've said that this playthrough. Don't bother looking. It's a waste of everyone's time. Unless you have some sort of weird count going, in which case, you've already wasted your time doing that. So feel free to put it in the comments, but don't go out of your way for it. It's not useful information. Now what have we got? The Hansa. Yeah, okay. We're really building up alliances in the middle of Europe, and it is a little bit concerning. Let's just see. Sweden, Great Britain, Poland, and Trier. And you have got Great Britain, Riga, Teutonic Order, Augsburg, Oldenburg, and Ferrara. So, I mean, there is a chance that if the Hansa and the Austrians go to war, we'll have to pick and choose. And in that case, I don't know if there's really much of a choice. We're going to go with Austria. Sure, Savoy, you can freely walk through British lands. I imagine they're doing that to get access to Crete. Because it's a Mediterranean island. Who wouldn't want to go to Crete? Tariffs on fish. The fish production in one of our colonies has come into focus. Really? British Mexico, the fish production in British Mexico. Not the gold, not the coffee, not the chocolate, not things that are worth it. Just fish. We'll just take the points. It's not worth getting that diplomacy hit to gain a better production of fish. No, sir. Alright, so it looks like the French are definitely getting into some sort of problems here with Spain. That is concerning because that would more than likely join up with Castilian Brazil. Yay! So we've actually officially got this as ours. Changing the culture would only cost 7 diplomatic power. Unless, strangely, that becomes a mission. I think that's worth it. Just to really reduce any of the annoying rebellions that having, French people in our country might cause. Not that the French, go out of their way to cause revolutionary problems. They only sometimes want to leave Canada, so I don't know. It's not a slight against the French, is what I'm trying to say. And can we actually put in any sort of advisors? No, I mean, we can't afford them because ridiculous costs. That, and we've got more important things to focus, British money on. So I'm going to wait for these guys to get up to, obviously 60. So we can effectively go to war with the Indians. And let's just make sure, who are they allied with? They're allied with Bengal. So, I mean, there's potential here for this to be a pretty decent fight. Let's see, 24,000 infantry, 5,000 cavalry, 23,000 artillery, and 67,000 manpower. That's a little bit concerning. And what about Bengal? Where are they at? 11,000 to 8 and 32. We can probably pull this off. Running the quick math in my head and realizing that we're going to have a, not a devastating tech advantage, but a big enough tech advantage that it should be like a couple episodes ago when the Iberian Peninsula, in fact, went to war with us and just really curb stomped our armies. We should be able to duplicate that against the Indians. At least that is what the theory is in my head. So let's get to this, shall we? Let's declare war. And what is the land? I think it's Madurai that we definitely want to take. Yes, it is. So where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Reconquest. Obviously do that. I'm not going to bother calling my allies in because they're going to be like, why are we getting involved in a war against India to help Britain grow their empire? I don't blame them. If they went to war, I wouldn't follow. So, well, that's not entirely true. If they went to war with, a colonial nation, I wouldn't go along with it. I'd just be like, hey, it's your war. Have fun. Probably should have waited. Do we really not have any leaders here? Have we got any leaders sitting around? You, sir, you probably don't need to be in Africa. And in all honesty, at this stage, we probably don't need an admiral. He is so good, though. So let's put him in charge of Red Squadron here. And this will become the Indian Fleet. And then we can go ahead and select, who are we going to do this with? We'll go with the Royal Marines. We'll give them the Maya. And how many are we generating? We're generating 9. We can definitely afford to get another general. And we will put him with the Army of Scotland, Richard Dampier. So now we're generating 8. And I think we could safely get one more. Oh, Octavius Clinton. There we go. This is what happens when ancient Rome meets, late 20th century America. You get a great general named Octavius Clinton. So let's put, let's see here. We're going to want the Marines on some boats. And then we will put Clinton in because he's one of our best generals. So we'll put him on boats too. And we can send the fleet up to this location. Oh my God, this again. All right, now I realize ships take less attrition damage when they're in a coastal province, but I really think that this is okay. I really think that we can afford to do that, and it won't hurt us. We'll find out. Maybe my fleets will just sink. I don't know, but I doubt it. King, with the backing of the members of the Holy Roman Empire, the Emperor has decided to go through with reform. I really don't care. Thank you, though. Landcap. There's a Lancaster on the throne of Bohemia? We're Lancasters, right? Okay, well. Not even going to question it. Not even going to question it. Okay, so what have we got coming in first? Our heavy ships going up against a couple of light ships and a transport. It won't be a problem. Especially not with Hugh Proctor here in charge. And nope, definitely not a problem. So we're going to take the Army of India and land them in India. And we'll put the Marines actually in Ceylon. is how we'll do that. Because they're used to taking islands, is the thing, right? And then, obviously, military military, like, real army units. Not that Marines aren't real army. Digging myself into a hole. Land army units would be better fighting on the land. So that works in my head. Get into Ceylon, would you? Thank you. Okay, trade disputes against Sweden, not really a concern of mine. Alright, and now we can go ahead and take the Mediterranean squadron and send them back to Fish Island. Again, taking the long route. How about we do that? Thank you very much. And I would like, relatively quickly, to capture one of these two ports so I can leave my fleet sort of stationed there. We can see that they're the triple deckers and the heavy frigates. They've already taken a bit of damage, which is, you know, a little bit concerning because they're not repairing. But I don't want to move them back because I know me and I will forget about them. Of course, chances are I'll forget about them just sitting here, so it's probably best to move them into a port while I'm thinking about it. But, you know, life lessons, right? That's all that is. There we go. I mean, we should be able to punch through these relatively quickly. We've got far more artillery than I'm used to having. So, yay me learning. Ouagadougou is still, they're still fighting it off. And we still have this land here too, don't we? Totally forgot about these islands. Mainly because they're not producing anything useful except for porcelain. Excellent year. Some of our grain farms are having an excellent year, allowing us to feed more troops and so increase our manpower. That is absolutely brilliant considering we're at war. You can't get a better time for that event to roll along than now. That's not entirely true. If you had no army and then, you know, you got that, well, you're fighting off, I don't know, the Spanish or something, would probably be useful. And that's them landed, so I am actually going to move the fleet back, let them repair because they need it. Oh my god, no! This way. Like, all you need is just a toggle switch, right? It's just something to be like, hey, show the province. Does it actually have a strait? I don't think it does. Oh, well, that's too bad. Our Royal Marine Commander is dead. That's alright. At least we've still got Clinton. Clinton's gonna win this for us. And our fleets have returned to Fish Island, where they are getting repairs at the wonderful shoreline, I guess. New governor in Newfoundland. We will have to send a new candidate. Sorry, Clinton. You guys should stick to the military and not get involved in politics. Just a suggestion. And actually, a boost to discipline right now would not be a bad thing. And yay, Demera is now British or English, so huzzah. I mean, it's probably a waste of money to really try to build up the economy of that land, so I'm just going to leave it. Because, I mean, you know, we got less than 100 years left, so that's my thinking on it. Don't waste money. Pretty simple. Let's see, how's this going along? Once we breach, we can probably do an assault and successfully take that land. I'm hoping. And we have yet to make any sort of contact with their army, so good news for us. Or the Bengal army. So it's really good news. Okay, let's see. We have no land connection whatsoever. So let's take a look, not at the Mediterranean Squadron, but at the Indian Fleet, who are looking pretty... There we go. Like just a toggle button to be like, no, we don't need to follow the freaking coastline. We're at war. We need to get there quick, not safe. Permanent matter of regal attention. Fortification of the realm always received great care, particularly at the border or in strategic places such as capitals, major shipyards, and important colonies. It is of the utmost importance. We can spend 50 ducats on it. And there we go. You guys can get on your boats. Now, I do remember last time that there was a little bit of an uprising in Ceylon. I'm hoping such a thing won't happen again. Finisterre Bay. Who are we fighting over there? Possibly one of those two nations, I guess. Had maybe a trade fleet there. Keyword is had, because they don't have it anymore. And then once the Royal Marines land, we can see some units are coming down now from Bengal. They're like, hey, you can't do this. Just try and stop me. Really what I should have done while I had the chance in Ceylon is put a leader in charge of the Royal Marines. Instead, they're just going to roll the way they always do, doing their thing. Marini goodness. It looks like Muscovy is going after India as well. Was that it becoming a colony? It was. Huzzah! So we can send you up to Yatenga, and we'll send a colonist there. That's good. You head on back to India. New governor in Cuba, so we'll go with a diplomat. And look at this. I mean, we're in the plus for prestige, so that's good. The establishment of a permanent recruiting area for armies of the age has made it much easier for us to extract men from the population to serve in the army. We can draft citizens or mass draft with financial incentives. We'll just draft the citizens. We don't need to waste money on raising 30 some odd troops. That's not going to be important. Our trade with natives of Ouagadougou has been very profitable, and the economy of the colony has spurred to new heights. We're just going to maintain our diplomat in Austria for now. We might as well. We'll just gain the free gold. I'm not going to turn down 50 bucks, or 50 ducats, or 50 whatever generic currency we happen to be using. All of these sieges are going fairly well. And our Indian fleet is up and ready, so we can start perhaps doing a little bit of blockading. And where would be an effective place to blockade? I'm thinking that's Spain, so that won't be all that effective. But I'm thinking along this coast here, right? Well, that's 2. These are going to wind up falling, so that would only give us 2. Maybe up there, that will give us 3. Or I could just blockade the entire area. I'm not totally sure if I want to do that, if I want to spread my ships out. Trade dispute against Spain. Well, you know what, Spain? Screw you. That's basically all I've got to say about that. Yeah, we don't have any buildings to build in India, obviously. We haven't taken any land in India yet. Keyword there is yet. This is going to be fairly successful, I have a feeling, which is good news for me because I could use it. Let's see, are you gonna come charging in? You gonna want to attack? Didn't think so. Didn't think so. But once we take Maduri here, which is really the only... Let's see. Yeah, you're definitely making a push for it, aren't you? And you're going to be coming down. which means, as much as I don't want to do this, when do you get there? 19th of May? How long to get you out? 19th of May. Chances are they're going to catch me before I can run. How long is that going to take you? You'll get there a day later? That should make him rethink his plan. Nope. Okay, well, we'll just stay there then. Now what are you going to do? You guys going to come rushing in that way? Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. You want to come here? Actually, what I'm going to do, because taking that is far more important, especially for the war score, we're just going to do this for now. But we're going to use the Army of Scotland to perhaps convince them not to attack. That's all you're going to do, is it? Who's the other guy here? Clinton? I mean, I'm thinking... What is their tech level? 24. We're 28. So our tech level should be high. Well, I mean, it's obviously going to be higher. Where is that little thing that shows me the thing? The tactics level? Arg. Can I see it here? So what is that? Military level is 24. Could have sworn it was like somewhere in here. Military tactics level. So 23. And they're at 24. So I guess technically we're at the same military tactic level. We just have, what, 4 levels of tech on them? Okay, well, with the Siege of Coromandel done, we can move the Marines down here, and then we can get the Army of Scotland to move in that way. And let's see what happens here. That army does not move down to reinforce, which is interesting. And they retreat. So that's one army taken care of. And now, with that guy, we're just going to wait for him to fully leave. We can take the Marines, and we can take the Army of Scotland and move into Cochin there. And I mean, we can effectively take care of this army too. Being led by their country leader, I do believe. And we've taken Madurai. So, all in all, successful little advancement. We'll just continue moving up. I don't think we get a claim on non-coastal regions. So taking Kongu is perhaps a little bit of a waste. As well as taking Carnatic. We should probably focus on coastal regions, but you know, this is what I'm doing. Really, what I would like to do is take pretty much the entire southern tip, right? Like, we're obviously going to want all of these nations around here, if I remember the trade goods correctly, and then, you know, Carnatic here would be worth it. I don't know if Kongu actually would, because it's just producing grain. Mysore would be worth it. And then pretty much everything on the coast would be absolutely worth it. I don't care about that. What I want is that. Yeah. Pretty much everything on the coast would be worth it. I do want to be careful, though, with my Indian possessions. I don't particularly want to get a border with Spain. What does the engineering corps get us? Leader siege +1? Yeah, okay. We can use that. And I'm a little bit concerned about the drop in my finances. However, I have a feeling that has to do with the losses that I've suffered. So once those guys get replaced, it should drop us down to a much better position financially. And really, once we take the land that we're looking to take. Alright, I got my eye on you. I know where you're going, and we're not going to let you. How long is that going to take you? 27th January, 27th January. Hopefully we catch them. Yes, we caught them. Perfect, and we wiped them out, so take that, suckers. Oh, here comes another military unit. You're just going to stay there while we move up and, let's see, 24th of February, 18th of February. There's no point in running. The governor of British Columbia has suddenly died, so we'll send a diplomatic candidate. And interestingly, the Bengal army there didn't move in to reinforce. I have a feeling that battle could have gone completely differently had they done that. But, you know, life is all about the choices we make while we live it. And they probably just chose poorly there. And it took all of my self-control. I've finally gotten over it, but I was really tempted to say he chose poorly. Like it was The Last Crusade. Because, you know, Indiana Jones, great movies. Not really relevant, but it's great movies. Except the last one. In my head, Indiana Jones is a trilogy. Just like Star Wars. Star Wars is just a trilogy. The prequels, they never happened in my head. When I think Star Wars, I don't think prequels. So there's a little pop culture info from the old history nerd. What are we able to get out of a peace deal now? Because we're definitely going to take Madurai. That's without question, and we need Ceylon. And if we can go like that, no, we can't. You're still like, no, you haven't earned it. You haven't earned it. Whatever, India, we're going to earn it. It's just going to take us a while. Siege of Malabar, that went quickly, and Cochin. There we go. So, suck on that, India. You guys probably should have accepted peace. We'll go into Vijayanagara and Mysore. Oh, crap. Okay. Yeah, we definitely need you to go up. Maybe? I mean, maybe not. We were pretty much kicking his ass there. Okay, well, we got those guys retreating, so good on us. They won't be bothering us anytime soon. And I'm not sure if I can actually take their capital. I probably can't, which is going to be a bit of a letdown, but it should really boost up our war score. Okay, we are going to need to take out a loan. But that, I mean, a grand, that should have us covered for a while. We won't need to mess around with finances at all now that we got that money in the bank. 3 for the episode. Are you really gonna just come down? See if you got, you know, fight us off? Man, Gurma, just freaking, you're not gonna win. You're definitely not gonna win. You're done. You're part of the Empire now. So deal with it. Just accept it. Don't fight it. Just embrace it and love it. I see what you're doing. You're like, hey, what if we put our army here? That'll confuse the British. Okay. Conflict and protest over taxes, corporations, port duties, navy requisitions, trade and customs policies were quite frequent and often had counterproductive effects. We'll just get rid of the troublemakers, because we don't need troublemakers. Okay, that's another province down. So what I might do is just move in. You know, they got 10,000 extra troops, but I'm not concerned. I think we'll be able to take them. Sure, our losses were a little bit heavier than I would have preferred, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles. It certainly looks like they're going to try and push down on the left. Oh no, those guys are retreating, so they're not going to try and push down on the western flank, which is handy dandy. So I'm not really in a position to block that. Well, it's not entirely true. I am in a position to block that. I just don't want to end the siege in Mysore. I have a feeling the Bengals, once they get up to about 20,000 troops, though, will try and push south. The local native population seems to be more accepting of our presence. This will have great benefits in the long run. Well, not really, because they're almost assimilated, really. Like, they're a part of us now. And there's nothing they can do about it. So the ferocity being a 2. Perhaps I could get a kickstart on, let's see. We will send you to Carnatic. Because why not? And I'm really hoping the capital falls soon. I could do an assault. But I don't know. That doesn't... I'm glad I didn't. Let's go for Kanara there. Get the Bengals out. Yay! Gurma has become a self-sustaining colony. So now we can take Conan there and finish off that. Then perhaps push into Mali, and then we can snag some of this land, although I don't know how really worthwhile that would be. Who knows? We'll find out. We'll find out together. Support for the war, as we have declared that we will wage war on our religious enemies. I don't know why that was so difficult for me to get out. The people have swung behind the war effort. Deus Vult. Less 2 war exhaustion. Speaking of, I haven't taken a look at it, but yeah, I wouldn't imagine that that was all that high. Because I mean, really, we're not losing. You're coming down to there. I'm a little bit concerned for the Royal Marines. They're not really supported all that well. Let's just see if that'll make them rethink. Yes, it will. Okay. So, yeah, they can come down into Kanara. We'll take that. And at least this way, our units are closer to each other. Just in case. I'm nervous about losing an army here. We can't really afford to do that. In fact, with 60% war score, let's just see what we can get out of them. So obviously those, we're going to try for that too. And then what? Well, maybe Kongu? No. To be honest, though, I mean, that's not a bad land grab. We have claims on all of them. We've got 1 as a core. And those should be fairly productive colonies. Where was the iron, though? I remember seeing it. Mysore. Yeah, Costa. If we wanted it. I don't know if we need it, though. Really, we can just focus on trade goods. So, a couple of spices, a couple of fabrics, and more spices. That wouldn't be bad. That would not be bad. Let's go ahead and take that. Yeah, that's looking good. And then, will you pay us anything? We can get as much money out of them as we possibly can, and obviously get quite a bit of aggressive expansion relations penalty, but I don't think that's going to have a long-term effect on any European allies. Most of the European people probably wouldn't care about taking southern India. Obviously, Spain and Portugal can't complain because they've had tons of time to take it and they haven't. So we'll just do that. Fine, that's perfect. We have get a presence in India yet again. We're back. Okay, overextension, no, that's fine. We're going to move the Royal Marines, and we're going to move the Army of Scotland, and we're going to, well, actually, no, the Army of India should go there. The Army of Scotland will go there. You're already a core, so we don't have to worry about you, but we will core you. We will core you. We will core you. We will core you. There we go. And we'll pick a new mission. So what can we do? Achieve religious unity? That's probably a good idea now that we've got quite a few Hindu provinces, although thankfully, Madurai, the English Protestants, they stuck around. So that's good. So we'll snag the religious unity one because that's going to give us, you know, more rewards. And getting into China, maybe once we achieve religious unity. But for now, we'll just pull that. And that is going to be a great place to leave the video. I think, anyway. And since I'm in charge, I can do what I want. Thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video. Leave your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, jokes, musings, what have you below. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.